I love it.
Hang on, guys. This is the only time I get to be on camera and actually speak. So let me have my moment here. Dad's driving.
Did y'all feel that? Because I got slapped all the way over here. Oh my God. That's the mark.
Oh, good. I'm live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Binge Battle MCU Edition. Boy, we've had a lot of great binge battles, and that's all thanks to all the fans watching us across numerous platforms here today. Everything from Fandango to Fandango All Access, Movies.com, the Rotten Tomatoes YouTube page, and right here on the Rotten Tomatoes Facebook page. It's Facebook where you can actually determine the winner of today's binge battle. We're going to go round by round. It's a team tournament today. Tag team, Team Fandango versus Team Rotten Tomatoes. You're going to be voting with your hearts and with your thumbs. That is likes and that is loves. If you think Team Fandango got the win in any particular round, then you're going to click that love button. You're going to click that heart. If you think that Rotten Tomatoes got the better of Team Fandango in a particular round, then you are going to hit that thumbs up, that like button. Yes, it is like versus love, but we love everybody equally here at Rotten Tomatoes. My name is Mark Ellis, and I'm thrilled to be hosting this because this is the biggest one we've ever done, and why not do it on the MCU, the biggest movie franchise, I think, box office-wise, in the history of time. And it doesn't matter if you snap half of the world out of existence, they're all still going to line up to go see every MCU movie that comes out. So we're going to be talking about everything MCU all the way back to 2008. Was it really 12 years ago, Molly, who's asleep? You can't hear me? I think it was. So without further ado, let's introduce today's combatants. Starting out for Team Rotten Tomatoes. She is much more than just a kid from Brooklyn, although she currently resides in Brooklyn, just like Captain America's old stomping grounds. She's the one, the only, the blurred girl, Karama Horn. Karama, how are we?
I'm good. How are you? I'm feeling good about this battle. I had a really good time last time. So, and I'm excited because I'm back now with a teammate. I'm feeling good.
You got the win last time when we were talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender, and now joining you for this MCU Combat Edition she is an editor at Rotten Tomatoes. She's one of my very best friends. She is Jacqueline Coley. Jacqueline, do you have your dog on set?
He is on set, but he is scared about all the sounds he's already heard. So he's hiding out in his little bed. It's strange for him. He doesn't understand what's going on. It's about to get worse too. So I don't blame him. But I'm very glad to be here.
You might as well put me and your dog in the same corner because we're just hanging on by the seat of our pants as we introduce the opposing team. That would be Team Fandango, and they are led by someone who I believe has every corner of his wall and possibly his ceiling covered in comic book paraphernalia. That is a hilarious stand-up comedian. You know him, you love him. Mr. Jay Washington, Chicago. Oh,
really? Really,
so
Jay?
extra.
Oh my
tell you,
God.
first of all, see, it would take. Look, the two of y'all would say I'm extra, but I figured since we do an MCU battle, why not the dude who hosts the Man Titan podcast just have an Infinity Gauntlet because we know we're gonna win. Thank you so much for having me, Mark. You're such a wonderful host.
If there is one thing you can rely on Jay Washington to do, it's to sneak that Mad Titan podcast plug in there as he's walking with his Infinity Gauntlet. Joining the Eric Davis from Fandango is here as well. Eric, I know you're currently in New York too. Did you bring a Power Glove, Freddy Krueger's glove, anything that you can?
I have my Infinity Gauntlet right here. So
Oh my God.
the team to beat is on the table right now. And then I got my girl right here representing Black Widow. Coming soon. And we're ready.
Very impressive representation. So look, Team Fandango versus Team Rotten Tomatoes. Team Rotten Tomatoes, I know y'all are experts in this stuff, but y'all are going against some great nerds.
I see this.
We are going against doing the most. That's what I'm saying.
You know what? I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate.
I'm not worried. I'm just going to let the fans decide. There's amazing people in the chat. I'm going to let them make this decision.
We don't need gimmicks. We got facts.
All right, Team Fandango, your last salvo, Eric. What do you got for Team Rotten Tomatoes in store for today?
We got a lot. We got a lot going on. We're going to debate, and we're going to bring it. We're going to bring the gauntlets, and We're gonna have a good time.
All right.
We're
I don't know if
all
you're
friends.
just really excited to be here, but either way, we're going to get going underway in round number 1. What is the round? Cue it up. It is the best origin story in the history of the MCU. So, the way that we do the tag team here is that the team is going to have to decide which combatant is going to be representing their squad in round number 1. It's only one teammate debating in round number 1. Then the opposite teammate will debate whatever the question is in round number 2. So, Team Rotten Tomatoes, who wants to go first? Is it going to be Karma or is it going to be Jacqueline talking about the best origin story?
I'll take it. I'll take this one.
All right, I like the confidence. Here's how it's going to work in round number 1. A minute is going to be on the clock, and I have a fancy boxing bell that I'm going to ding when that minute is up. Is anybody going to respect it? Probably not. But hey, that's just me attempting to do my job as best I can. So Karma's going to have a minute, and then Team Fandango. It looks like it's probably going to be Eric Davis going first in round number 1. Is that right, Eric?
It is going to be me. I'm taking this one.
All right, Eric goes origin. And we're about ready to go. Eric, you're going to have a minute after Karma. And then Karma, you're going to have a quick rebuttal. It's going to be about 10 seconds. And then we're going to go to Eric for his rebuttal. And then that is going to be the round. And then we leave it up to you. Once again, folks, everybody watching us right now on Facebook, you are in charge of who wins each round. You click those thumbs up. That's the like button if you think Team Rotten Tomatoes had the better argument. You click that heart. That's the love button if you think Team Fandango did a little bit better. So thumbs up for Rotten Tomatoes, hearts for Fandango. And without further ado, Karma, you're kicking us off in round number 1.
Okay, I have to say that I think in all the MCU, the best origin story, the best arc belongs to Tony Stark. Now, he started off as a genius billionaire playboy arms dealer, but he ended the first movie by saying, I am Iron Man out of hubris. But he goes from selfish to selfless. He used scrap metal to build a new suit. He goes after the people who stole his tech. His mindset was changed. He went from knowing he was the smartest person in the room to collaborating with people like Banner and the Avengers. He also created the second family that he didn't think he really had. He never really had a family. He grew up really alone. And being a genius, he kind of felt he was always by himself. The Avengers were his family. And then he starts creating inventions for the team. He's got Rhodey's suit. He fixed Cap's shield. He's got Jarvis, who then turns into Vision. But it all took a toll. We also saw his arc go up and down. He suffered from PTSD. We saw that in Iron Man 3. This was the most human arc that we've seen in a superhero movie ever. And then basically after going into space, he took another toll. So by the end of this, at the end of Endgame, Iron Man is not selfish anymore. He's selfless. And that is why when he says, I'm Iron Man again, oh, there's the bell.
Argument, and you kind of wrap it up there nice. I didn't think that you'd be able to get from Iron Man all the way to Endgame in 1 minute, but that was very impressive history lesson, and that's a tough argument for Eric to counter. So, Eric, you're going up against Tony Stark and Iron Man. What is the best origin story in the MCU? 1 minute on the clock, sir.
The best origin story in the MCU is Captain America, and it is Captain America, the first Avenger, for 3 reasons. The setting, the spectacle, and it's sentimental. The setting, early 40s, it's a throwback. It's the only period piece in the MCU, which opens it up to all of these really great action sequences that we don't see in other movies, like the foot chase through the streets of Brooklyn, which is my personal favorite. Spectacle. You know, there's all kinds of really great action sequences, but also the special effects in that film were groundbreaking. It was really the first time that Marvel Studios was using those effects to make skinny Steve Rogers and then hunky Steve Rogers. And those special effects went on to become a staple in the MCU movies when it came to de-aging characters and whatnot. The effects on Red Skull were really cool, and just the eventizing of that movie was fantastic. And then it's sentimental. You know, you have his best friend Bucky, and you have their journey. You have his love, the love of his life in Peggy. And what I love about Captain America is at the end of that film, he is down. He has lost his best friend. He has lost the love of his life. He is now trapped in a time that he is not familiar. He doesn't not know that. And it sets up what I think are the two most superior sequels that we have ever seen in the MCU. Forget about Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. I'm throwing those in the garbage. Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Captain America: Civil War are fantastic sequels, and it is because that ending of that origin story sets it up.
And under the wire with the love for not only Captain America: The First Avenger, but also the two incredible sequels that it's really going to be up to the fans to decide. And that might be the crux of the decision for a lot of people watching right now is, okay, well, do I consider those two Captain America sequels Captain America movies, or are they more like Avengers light? And then you have Iron Man 2 and 3, sure, but if we're talking origin story, Iron Man versus Captain America, it's quite a battle, folks. So get those final votes in right now. Hit that thumbs up if you think Karama and Iron Man are the better origin story. Hit that heart button if you think Eric and Captain America should take the cake today. So, Karama, we're going to pivot back to you. Quick 10 to 15 second closer for your argument in round number 1.
Captain America has an amazing origin story, but he plays one note. He's always the Boy Scout. When we're talking about a development of a character and origin story, we got to talk about where they get to. Tony gets to a change. He becomes a selfless person. Also, sentimental. Come on. I love you 3000. What quotes does Captain America have? Language? Come on.
Funny though, but yeah, the I love you 3000 is something that the Muppet hears from time to time. So, Eric, pretty strong close there, but was it a mic drop? We're about to find out.
First of all, what do you mean kind of art? This is a man that was all about serving his country. He is taken to another time period. He has to learn the world all over again, and then he has to betray the government that he has always fought for in order to stand up for what he believes is right and what he believes in. And then he has to, fight his other best friend, and then he has to go and save the world and hold Thor's hammer and crush it all. Captain America is the man.
All right, that is gonna do it for round number 1. Two very spirited arguments kicking us off here in round number 1 for best origin story. I love these comments so far. Oddly enough, I'm seeing a lot of love for Thor on the comment section. So a lot of people love Thor's origin story. Caleb Pace has a great comment. Caleb says Tony's very smart, but his dad built his empire and money. Captain America is the best origin through his entire journey.
We're there, Caleb.
But then you also
like your opinion, man.
Let's see. Maria Gons says Iron Man was the base for many movies. If the origin story wasn't good, there would be no MCU. So two pretty great arguments here. And now it's going to be all up to the fans to decide if it is Karama representing Iron Man or if it is Eric Davis representing Captain America. Before I give the final tally, Jacqueline, how would you say your teammate fared in round number 1?
Run us our thumbs up. Run them. Because, she murdered it. She talked about it, and she talked about a real arc. I love Captain America. He is the heart of the Avengers, but Tony's the head, and he had to work through so many things. Captain is the same. I can do this all day, literally from the beginning and the end.
Okay, Jay, final word goes to you. Why should everybody vote for your teammate, Eric Davis?
Because he has America's ass.
Actually, I mean, you're talking about mic drop. That's pretty spectacular. That's why you have Jay Washington.
Eric has America's ass.
Yeah, America and Cap. I'm just going. That's the quote we're going to use. We're going to leave it at that. We're not going to go to the first. We're not going to do that.
What show is this?
We don't need to know why Jay has his information, but he does. And
it's correct information. It's correct.
America's ass has just gone up 1-0 over Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
The Hearts did win, and now Team Fandango's up 1-0 over Team Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes finding themselves in an unfamiliar position, trailing to anybody, much less Fandango, against Eric Davis and Jay Washington. So now we move on to round number 2. This one is going to be Jay Washington versus Jacqueline, Coley, and Jay. You're going to be going first.
Come on, Jackie, work it out.
Jay, you're going to have about a minute, and once that minute hits, we're going to hit that boxing bell. That means your time is up, and the question, oh boy, this could get very, very competitive because it is the most iconic moment in the MCU. Jay Washington, 1 minute starts now.
Going off my partner using Captain America's best origin story, the best moment within the entire MCU is Avengers Assemble. The reason being, we have waited almost 10 years to finally hear that line. We never heard it in the first movie. At the end of the second Avengers movie, we heard Avengers cut off. We thought we were finally going to hear it. We had a buildup until this giant climactic scene, something like a Marvel poster you would have in your room, to finally see Cap wielding a broken shield and Mjolnir in his hands and saying assemble, and watching theaters across the world go crazy. There was no other moment. I Am Iron Man did it because it had its emotions, but Avengers Assemble, everybody had been waiting on that particular moment. There you go.
All right, so I Am Iron Man, and we get the Avengers Assemble. We get all that sort of good stuff, and it does take us on a journey through virtually the entire MCU. So very good round for Jay, not just because I didn't have to ding the bell, but also because he made a good point. So Jacqueline Coley, if you want the folks out there to hit the thumbs up for your team instead of the hearts for Jay, what do you got?
Okay, when we're going to talk about the most iconic moment in the MCU, we really have to talk about what Jay said, but it's not his moment, what we've been leading up to, what we've really been leading up to. For everybody that was talking about how much they love Captain America, when he picks up Mjolnir, that is the most iconic moment. Not only does it pay off something that they set up going back to when we first introduced Thor, saying his hammer makes him feel like you are worthy. It is teased in Avengers Age of Ultron. And when Cap picks that up after being beaten down by Thanos, and you know that Thor is maybe going to die if he doesn't get Mjolnir and come and attack him, it says so much about the heart of the Avengers, shows who he is. He gets that hammer and just pounds into Thanos. And then Thor just comes back and says, I knew it. That to me is the jump up in the middle of your seat moment in the theater. Avengers Assemble is amazing, but let's be honest, it's a tagline. This is an actual moment. This is something that you're talking about to your friends. This is when they say, don't spoil it. This is what they say. Don't tell me about that moment, because you want to feel that moment for the very first time. From when you see it just pull up slightly until when you see it come right down on Thanos' head.
I just wanted to hit it anyway. You were pretty much right at a minute. So Jacqueline wins the not running the light by the closest margin award. So Jacqueline, you have a moment. Jay has a moment that's now on the table. So now it's up to everybody watching us on Facebook to decide which argument they think was better. If you think Team Fandango, represented by Jay Washington, had the better argument, then you hit that heart button. That's the love button. If you hit the like button, the thumbs up button, that is going to give a vote to Jacqueline Coley and Team Rotten Tomatoes. But first, Jay Washington, you're going to have about 10, 15 seconds. If you have any more mic drop moments, or you want to reference another part of your co-pilot's anatomy, have at it.
Well, as far as the picking up of Mjolnir, it only happened in Avengers Age of Ultron, but we've been waiting for Avengers Assemble since the beginning of formation of the Avengers together. We got teased it. Yes, it was a great moment to see him wield Mjolnir, but to know you finally heard the tagline. Yes, every MCU movie has a great tagline, whether it's Ibam Bay or, I Am Iron Man. All these movies have it, but Avengers Assemble is what this entire Infinity Saga has become, and it's what it's about, and it does not make sense to culminate it without the words Avengers Assemble.
The Avengers certainly have assembled, and now they're on two different teams, so this feels a little bit more like Captain America Civil War. So Jacqueline, continue the battle. Your final word on the best moment in the MCU.
I'm confused. Is the question the best tagline, or the question is the best moment? When you walked out of Endgame, you were not running up to your friends in the lobby talking about Avengers Assemble. It was cool, but I guarantee you, I bet it on my mama that you were talking about Captain having that shield and that hammer in his hand. That is what you were talking about. That is the moment that you have in your mind. That's why we call it a moment. And that moment, again, it's not the longest moment of payoff. It's the best moment of payoff.
Okay,
First
so
of all, put things on her mama. That's how we know we get serious around here. On my mama.
Put it on my mama. Sorry.
On my baby.
Run me my thumbs.
On my babies.
Oh my God. So I told you this bell, really?
Jerma, I know you're feeling my pain right now. I kind of feel like Cap when I say I could do this all day, but unfortunately, the tech crew cannot. So we are going to call the argument there. And while I wait for the judges to tabulate the votes and then get that information in between my ears, Eric Davis, your name came up a few times. Have you been energized by Jay Washington's argument? Do you agree with your teammate?
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. You have a moment that has every single character from all of the films going against all of the giant Thanos and his army, and you have them all running to each other. I mean, it is literally the moment that we have been waiting for 20 some odd films. You know, I think, yeah, Cap holding the hammer was cool.
Is it the moment we waited the longest, or the moment that was the
moment?
best?
It was
Look,
the moment.
look, we just went up 2-0. I'm sorry. But
Man.
we just went up 2-0.
Again, Avengers 1, Avengers Age of Ultron. That's when your moments, quote unquote,
I'm just
started.
asking innocent questions here. Karamo, let me get you in here real quick, and you tell me, how much do you stand your teammate Jacqueline Coley right now?
No, I'm behind her 100%, because even when you're going across Twitter and you're looking at replays of GIFs from the movie itself, the number one thing that people always play, and you hear people screaming in the theater, is when Cap grabs that hammer. Yes, it was amazing to see everybody run, but Avengers Assemble. Yes, if you were a kid and you remember the animated series and the comics and stuff, perfect. But that moment when he got that hammer, that was for all fans. That wasn't just for comic book fans.
That's right. And a lot of people in the chat agreeing with you, Karama, and by proxy with Jacqueline, Team Rotten Tomatoes. Anna Christina weighs in and says the theater shaked when he got that hammer. And then Anthony Alicia says that it is that hammer that is the real hero of the MCU. Jennifer Coronado Healy is going with Avengers Assemble. So, and then Brian chimes in and says, Brian says, I've never seen one of these movies. So thank you for weighing in, Brian.
Thanks for watching, Brian.
So, Jay, you gave a great argument for Avengers Assemble. Jacqueline, you did just as admirably for your moment. And we're tied up, folks. Team Rotten Tomatoes gets the point in the last seconds, and Jacqueline Coley has gotten her team back even with Team Fandango. And that can only mean one thing. Now we move on to round number 3, which is going to be our first tag team round. So here is how it gonna work. We got 1.5 minutes for each team, which means 45 seconds for each participant. The question in round number 3 is, who is the strongest Avenger? So Team Rotten Tomatoes is going to be going first, and here's how it works. Whoever wants to go first for Team Rotten Tomatoes may start. You have 45 seconds. Once you hear that bell, you got to pass the baton over to your teammate, who's going to pick up the slack, continue the argument, and then we will be finished with your round. We go over to the Team Fandango for their rebuttal, and then each team is going to have about 20 seconds to close out with their argument. Sound good? Here we go. Right. Team Rotten Tomatoes, who wants to go first for the strongest
You want me to
event?
go first?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first. Okay.
Like you're gonna do the best setup. I feel.
You got Anchor. It's cool.
Nah,
All right.
like
Have at it, Caramel.
What about since it started?
I think the strongest Avenger is Hulk. Basically, in terms of the Avengers in the MCU, he had the ability to punch a Chitauri. He beat the crap out of both Thor and Loki. Everyone was terrified of him, but they really wanted him to be on their side. Also, Hulk is also a Banner. You've got one of the smartest minds in the Avengers. And even after he left the Avengers for a bit, he was a gladiator on Sakaar. The only one who could kick his ass was Thanos. I'm sticking with Hulk. And I want to tap up Jack.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, Captain Marvel is a photon. She saved Tony Stark in the middle of space. Without her, we wouldn't have even had Endgame. She is so powerful. She can literally destroy an entire planet with all of the energy that she has inside of us. We have to go ahead and say that Captain Marvel is the most powerful Avenger, and there's not a single person on this list that she could not destroy. And again, we wouldn't even have the Avengers that we have today if it wasn't for the fact that she came and saved the day. She was the one that Nick Fury calls. Just going to go ahead and put it like there, when you really need an Avenger to come.
Because Nick Fury was on the verge of saying a swear word before he disappeared into dust, but not before he got that call in to Captain Marvel. So, Jay, I know you can appreciate this reference because I feel like I'm watching an old school wrestling match where, wow, I'm watching my favorite team, arguably, go smack another one of my favorite teams. And y'all are down on the mat. I mean, Hulk and Captain Marvel, that's a lot to deal with, but I have a feeling Team Fandango is going to get up off the mat here in just a sec. So, Jay, Eric, 45 seconds. Who wants to take it first?
Eric, you want it or you want me to take it?
You take it.
All right. You got
I'll back you up.
Okay, you got my time started. The
Have at it,
strongest
sir.
Avenger does not even have her regular name yet. It's Wanda Maximoff. You will come to know as the Scarlet Witch. Why do I say that? Her powers came from the Tesseract, first and foremost. In this MCU realm that we're doing, she can control her mind. And not only is the strongest Avenger because of what she does, especially in Endgame, when she rips off Thanos' armor after she tells him, you took everything from me. And he says, I don't even know you. We can go into Infinity War where she proves she was the strongest Avenger. Why? Because she had to hold back Thanos while also killing the love of her life and destroying an Infinity Stone at the exact same time. If that ain't the strongest Avenger, no matter what, I don't know who is.
All right, Eric Davis, you're up.
Look, the strongest Avenger for me, it's Black Widow, because strength isn't just physical ability. It's not just getting into an accident with gamma radiation or getting into an accident with the Tesseract. It comes from your mind, it comes from your heart, and in the case of Black Widow, strength comes from your soul. You know, she is wicked smart. Yeah, she can kick ass and take names. She's got tremendous physical ability. She is an assassin, a trained assassin, but she also has the strength to overcome a past of abuse, and she fights through that, and she decides to take everything that she learned and everything that she was raised to and throw it away in order to join SHIELD and do the right thing. And then when everything is on the line, this woman, she gives up the total sacrifice. She gives up her life so that her best friend can continue to have a life with his family. That is strength right there, Black Widow.
All right, so Black Widow and Wanda Maximoff, that would be Scarlet Witch, are the two combatants that are going to be put out there on the field.
I'd like to say something real quick before you go further. I do not appreciate Jacqueline Coley's remarks and by her face as soon as Eric said Black Widow, because Jacqueline was like,
hey, okay, well, Jacqueline, you get a chance to rebut right now. Before you do so, I'm just going to remind all the fans out there watching us on Facebook that you're voting right now, and you're voting for the fate of our team. So hit that like button. That's the thumbs up button if you like Team Rotten Tomatoes a little bit better. If you think that Team Fandango's got this argument in the bag, then hit that heart button. That's the love button. So, Jacqueline, you did make a face. I don't know if that's where you want to start your rebuttal, but here we go. About 10 seconds, and then we'll pick up Karima.
I will admit that the best thing that Black Widow could do is for a minute, she was the only one that could sort of control the Hulk. But I'm sorry, like, to spoil it for y'all, but by the end, Hulk can control himself. So literally the best thing she was kind of doing as far as a power situation was that, look, Black Widow is definitely a badass. I'm not going to deny that. I have a photon. The girl pushes things through space. That is the strongest Avenger without a doubt. And if we're really looking at the team, I'm just saying, if you were going to have a team and it's Scarlet Witch and Black Widow or Captain Marvel and the Hulk, we know how this is going down. We know how this is going down.
Karima, 15 seconds is all yours.
So I'm going to say for Eric, I'm sorry. Yes, Black Widow gave her life, but that's why she's no longer, couldn't be the strongest Avenger. She's dead. She's not coming back. We're waiting for a movie to come out. She's gone. She's not in the MCU. So in terms of Hulk, he's unkillable. He's literally unkillable. And as far as the comment about Wanda, I'm telling you, Jay, if we were talking about comics, I would be right there with you. This is not House of M. She's not been possessed by Chthon. I'm sorry. She's not.
I love Karima.
She's fast and he's weird. She's weird and he's fast. Come on, y'all. Come on.
No.
Okay.
Mark, why is strength? It's so one-dimensional. Their argument is so one-dimensional. It's just powers. I'm sorry I didn't trip and fall over some gamma radiation, and I'm sorry I didn't get into an accident with the Tesseract.
The sun's going down, big fella. The sun's getting real low, big fella. Sun's getting real low.
Well, actually, in terms of the Tesseract, and you were talking about, and Jay, you were talking about the Tesseract, but I'm sorry, Captain Marvel also absorbed the Tesseract. You kind of forgot that in Captain Marvel.
Okay. Fandango, y'all can close out. I'm going to give Fandango another 10 seconds uninterrupted. Have that go.
Because what? The Hulk is unstable. If it benefits the Hulk,
unstable? Wait.
Yes.
Are you saying Wanda is less unstable than the Hulk?
More unstable than the
Mark.
You got it. Rotten Tomatoes, you got to let Team Fandango finish their argument.
Right. You let me finish this life. Thank you, ma'am. Unstable. Look, the Hulk is unstable. The reason being, Banner had to finally learn to control him. And matter of fact, he couldn't even control him after he got whooped by Thanos. He tried to get him to keep coming out, and the Hulk was like, no, Hulk don't want to do it. Hulk took too many things.
All right.
There's your strength. There's your strength right there. The guy doesn't even know who he is or how to control what he is. He doesn't even know. Strength is from here. So put those hearts on the board because strength is from your heart.
In
It's
the
not from your
heart.
accident with gamma radiation.
All
That's not where
right.
you get your strength
We've
from.
heard the arguments. I think we can all agree that real strength is the host being in the middle of this, trying to all these different opinions.
You know,
You
Here
really are the strongest Avenger right now,
You
Mark.
are.
We can
You
all
are.
agree.
Marcus is
Y'all
trying
know
to
how
say
I feel
right.
right now. I feel like the scene in Civil War, I think, where Captain America is trying to hold on to the helicopter and it's just but hey, we're keeping this thing afloat. And if y'all have any more buttons to push, go ahead and do it right now. You're clicking that like button, the thumbs up for Team Rotten Tomatoes. You're clicking the heart. That's the love button for Team Fandango. I love the arguments. I love the passion. I love the frivolity that we brought. I think my favorite mic drop moment in this round was probably Karima when she just simply reminded us that Black Widow's dead. Thank you for that.
It doesn't matter.
We
She's in
do
several
have-
films. She has a film coming out this November.
But it's
She
in the
does.
past. It's in the
She
past.
does.
I don't see. Does Hulk have a solo film? That's
Yeah,
Mark
he doesn't-
Ruffalo? I don't know.
Can we get a solo movie? Actually, and Black Widow technically is a title because it's going to be passed on to Yelena Bolivar. Now we want to keep going. All right.
All right, so I'm looking at these comments, and Chuck is really supporting Scarlet Witch. So Chuck, I think Chuck is a little torn between Scarlet Witch and Hulk being made from gamma rays, and then Joel weighs in and says that he's not thrilled with Fandango right now. The Fandango argument's a little weak, and so we'll see. The votes are in; they've been tabulated, and it does appear that despite commenter Joel's opinion, Team Fandango gets the point.
Oh,
That's
there it is.
I call Tom
Forever,
Ford.
forever.
Hey.
Literally, y'all, Black Widow over a photon. Seriously, though.
Hey,
I appreciate y'all,
when
though.
you gotta
I
kill
love
the-
all y'all.
when you got to kill the love of your life while holding back the greatest threat the universe has ever seen and destroying one of the most powerful things the universe has ever known at the same time.
You already won.
All right.
You already
Y'all gotta
won.
save your
Moving
breath here
on.
because
You won.
round number 4 is going to get a little spicier. Round number 4, it is going to be kicked off by Team Fandango, who now enjoys a 2-1 win. And no pressure, but Team Fandango can win the match with this round if they get the point. If Rotten Tomatoes gets the point, we will go to a tiebreaker round number 5. So the question, and I love that I get to qualify this because I just asked y'all who's the strongest Avenger, hero, character, what have you. In round number 4, Team Fandango, minute 30s on the board because you have to give me the strongest villain not named Thanos. Because that'd be too easy. So, minute and a half on the board. Who wants the 45 seconds first for Team Fandango?
I think I'm going to take it because our pairing sort of matches each other. So in the timeline, I will take it first.
Have at it. It's all yours. Eric Davis kicking us off in round 4.
All right. So I think the best villain in the entire MCU that is not Thanos is Zemo from Captain America Civil War. And what I love so much about Zemo is that he's unassuming, he's unexpected. He is the most unassuming and surprising villain in the MCU. He exacts revenge not by using his muscle, but by using his brains. He turns the Avengers against each other. This is one of a bunch of setups that Age of Ultron laid down that are paid off after Age of Ultron. You know, the only epic finale battle that doesn't include a fight between the heroes and the villains. This is heroes against heroes. And that final fight between Cap and Iron Man and Bucky in Civil War is without a doubt the most exhilarating yet heartbreaking fight that we've ever seen in the MCU. Zemo is the most maniacal of all the villains. And while he doesn't have the most badass weapons or army, he made us care the most about these characters more than we ever realized we cared about them.
Zemo pairs nicely with your pick.
Zemo pairs nicely with the pick of one N'Jaka, aka Killmonger. Why? Because just as unassuming as Zemo was, Killmonger as well. He managed to overthrow the throne of Wakanda by beating in ritual combat the king, who, again, without the strength and everything, is supposed to be able to fight any adversary. He tricked everybody, and he actually killed the man who was trying to help him, who was just as big of a threat to Wakanda as Killmonger is in Ulysses Claw. Not to mention, Killmonger's plan was to liberate an entire race of people all over the world using all of the weapons in which Wakanda had. If T'Challa did not go to M'Baku and the Jabari, Killmonger would still be running Wakanda right now. It took help to take that man from the throne. And because of his power on the throne, he also assumed control of the Dora Milaje.
Man,
personal.
right on time, Jay, just like the great comic that you are, respecting the light. So we have Eric and Jay teaming up for Team Fandango, and those are some pretty strong picks. So you got Zemo and you got Killmonger. They certainly left some sort of semblance of an appearance on a lot of people. Now we move on to Rotten Tomatoes. Jacqueline, Karima, who wants to take it first?
I got this one. All right, listen. We're going to go ahead and talk about the best villain. It has to be more than just what they did and who they are. It's talking about memorable. And so I'm going to take it back to the third Thor movie, Thor Ragnarok, what anyone argues is the best of the series. And I'm talking about Hela. This woman was not only a badass that brought the entire Asgard team to its knees. Homegirl did it in patent leather with some fierce style. I mean, that makeup was on point. I enjoyed watching her wreak havoc and calling Ragnarok as much as I watched enjoying any other part of the MCU. She was funny, she was deadly, and she was somebody that not only you wanted to follow, in the back of your mind, you're like, maybe we could kick it and have a beer with her. I'm just saying, Hela is not only the best villain, she's the funnest to watch. And by extension, for what I'm about to hand off to my tag team partner, we're going to talk about how both of our people are birthed by one man who should be the shadow villain of all this.
Certainly winning the argument for horns thus far. And now we go to Karima. And Karima, your complimentary villain is?
I'm sorry. I think the biggest villain in the MCU, affecting the entire MCU, is Loki. He is the trickster that's been jacking up the MCU since he first showed up in Thor #1. He has tons of powers, illusion manipulation. He's a cold immunity frost giant, shapeshifter, psychology. He's got a cloning jutsu. He lies. He stays lying to everybody, which is what makes him so dangerous. He will sell anybody out at any point in time. So you're talking unexpected, it's Loki. You never know what he's going to do or when he's going to do it. And he is the most unstable. And yes, family Odinson is jacked up. Between Hela and Loki, they have wreaked more havoc through the entire MCU at the hands of their father than any other characters. Not for just one movie, but for Loki through the entire MCU has been the strongest villain.
God, man, this might be my favorite round that we've had thus far. I mean, you have Hela and Loki, and you're right, they share some lineage there, but you're countering Team Fandango that has two incredible villains, a little more cerebral perhaps than you might expect the classic villain to be, with Zemo and with Killmonger. And this is going to be a barn burner. This one's coming down to the wire. And if anybody wants to change their answer, we do have some other suggestions from our chat room. Joseph says the U.S. government is actually the strongest. Jennifer,
That's a good point.
Jennifer says, forget the supervillains. The best villain is the United Nations. So there's
the Sokovia Accords.
Yeah. Sokovia Accords.
There's a lot to pick from here. Braun Roberts says, to be fair, Loki ended off as a hero, kind of, but I think he is squarely in the realm.
No, we cannot go back. I know you're going to do the whole time travel part when they were going back to get the stone.
Hey, we're not there yet. Calm down.
Okay. Here we are.
I don't know, but
make sure you're clicking the love button for Team Fandango, the like button for Team Tomatoes. Okay, Team Fandango, your rebuttal is up. You got about 10 seconds apiece. Who wants it first?
Let me take it first. Because first of all, Loki's dead, so I don't even know why we're talking about Loki. And Loki became a comic. He became a comic sidekick. Maybe the Avengers, he's kind of creepy, but then they just kind of made him a comic sidekick. Hela is, look, I love Kate Blanchett, but she is the least memorable part of that movie. Whenever they were with Hela, I was like, go back to the Hulk and Thor and Jeff Goldblum and whatever the hell was going on that planet. That's what I wanted to see in that movie. And plus, Hela isn't in the first two Thor movies, so you don't really care about her much.
All right, Jay, you're picking up the slack.
All right, I like Hela's patent leather, I'll say that. But however, when it comes to Killmonger, it made women across the world identify with the villain. There were women all over the world were like, yeah, maybe Killmonger was right. Think about it. There are t-shirts that still go around this day saying Killmonger was right. And again, to be cerebral and to take over one of the most powerful nations in the world that no one knew about until the end speaks volumes.
All right, Jay Washington.
No, you don't get to raise your hand.
No, I'm talking to Jackie. I'm not talking to you. Jackie, I'll go next.
Yes, I was going to say, you do need to go next because you're about to go end this. Go, girl.
Okay. So I'm sorry, Loki is alive. At the end of Endgame, Loki is alive. You know, I don't talk about the past. He actually is alive. That's why there's a show coming out. So he's
And
not
Black
dead.
Widow has a movie
First,
coming out.
so, but that is the past. Loki's not in the past. Loki is alive. In terms of Killmonger, Killmonger was an amazing villain, but only in Black Panther. He does not affect the MCU. And I'm sorry, women all over don't love Killmonger. Why? Because he killed every woman he put his hands on in that movie.
All right, Jacqueline. A pretty strong opening there from Karima. You're going to bring us home in round number 4.
Well, my girl Karen was about to say the real one that was right was Nakia was right, played by Lupita Nyong'o. That is the message you should take. We could do it better without damaging Black women while we do that. And let me go ahead and break it down. Zemo, who? Just who? Who? Did nobody remember that man? Did nobody remember what he did? And did nobody care? I'm talking about this woman killed the Asgardians. Set up what we were getting to in Infinity War. Hella done. Hella murder, y'all. Run me my mouth.
Right.
Zemo was the reason the Avengers split up. Zemo broke up the Avengers.
Yes.
Zemo
for
getting a
movie.
lot of love and then a lot of hate. Alternately, in the chat room is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Lucy is firmly planted on Team Rotten Tomatoes. Anna Christina chimes in with a great point. She says Odin is the best villain because he's the worst parent. So
if Odin hadn't killed Loki's dad, stolen him, lied about it, hitting the Tesseract in the basement, hitting the Destroyer in the shed, lied about all of it, including Hela, who incidentally he put in hell, killed the folks who knew about her, and then redecorated, we probably wouldn't even have an MCU.
But
I can't argue.
But old nature argument.
No, I'm agreeing with the girl.
all right.
Okay.
Got the votes. Got the votes in. I'd like to applaud all 4 of our combatants here, both teams for spirited debate. I think Jay Washington might have had the most controversial statement when he said, "Let me speak for all women." Jay, it usually doesn't go well.
I didn't say that.
Sorry, boo.
I love you, Jay. Hey, Jay, I love you. We're both single for a reason, my man.
Thank you.
The votes are in. You voted with your hearts. You voted with your thumbs, like and love. And ladies and gentlemen, it's the MCU binge battle, and it gives me great pleasure to declare the winner has not been named yet because we go to round number 5. Takes round number 4. Did I scare y'all for a little bit?
Yeah.
And
really
we gotta give it. We've been so hard on you. You get that one. You get that one.
You get that one.
I'm not trying to give you all a heart attack. I just want to make y'all smell toast a little bit. So we move on to topic number 5. And it's simple. And it's Rotten Tomatoes. It's going to be kicking us off. Infinity War versus Endgame. Take that however you want. 45 seconds.
It's going to be oh my God, he's still pressing on his little toy.
I haven't. It wasn't me this time. It wasn't me.
Jackie, you get a little start.
Yeah, I got this. What is
right,
that?
Jackie.
What? No, I don't want any like somebody is throwing things in the background trying to throw me off. This is Deflate Gate. Binge Bad version.
I have been to Jay's house and I've seen the Infinity Gauntlet up close, and it does make a really cool sound when you're there. When you're virtual, Jay, it kind of sounds like you're having toilet issues at your apartment.
I didn't touch the.
Go to Jacqueline Coley, 45 seconds.
Stop touching your toys.
This is the round that will determine the match. It's all yours.
I'm going to go ahead and say Binges versus Endgame. We've already sort of made the case from this, from everything we've talked about. What moments have we been talking about through this whole thing? Whether it be Avengers Assemble, whether it be On Your Left, whether it be Captain America dancing with Captain Carter at the end of Endgame, because Endgame is the movie that really brings it home. And I will also tell you this, you could not watch the entire rest of the MCU and you could watch Endgame and you could have a moment, a complete movie where it took you from the depths of despair, that 5-year break. How many of y'all had your heart stop when you saw that? And then they build you back up with humor, with love, with heart, and they tie it off better than the season finale of 6 Feet Under. This is one of the best culminations in the history of cinema. And there is no way that the floor play to that is going to in any way equate to what we actually wanted to get to, which is the climax.
Okay, Karima, you're picking up the baton and running with it. 45 seconds is all yours.
Okay, Eric said it in the pre-show. Endgame made all the money. Like, the fans already chose this as the best movie in the MCU. Infinity War is good, but it's not a complete movie. It isn't. And we also knew at the end that Peter wasn't going to be really dead. We knew he was coming back. Everything, all of the moments, including Tony's arc when he dies, the biggest moment of all of the MCU. you cannot say that Endgame isn't the biggest. You absolutely can't. Plus, you guys argued that Cap, we already talked about Cap grabbing Moo Moo and Mew Mew, which I love calling it that, and saying Avengers Assemble. All of these things happened in this movie, not Infinity War. So I'm sorry, I got to give it to Endgame.
All right. Yeah, Karama's right. Mumu is the closest I get to pronouncing that hammer right, which is why I just call it the hammer. So we go to Team Fandango. Pretty good argument for a pretty great closing to a franchise, or at least that chapter of it. So Endgame versus Infinity War. Who wants to go first with quite a daunting task ahead of you, gentlemen?
Go ahead, Jack.
I got it. It's Infinity War because it's done something no other movie has done and will ever do. It was the villain story. The whole movie is the story of Thanos. When the snap happens and at the end you see him sitting in the garden smiling, everybody was like, oh my God, is that it? We keep calling it a two-part movie, but it's not. That was the end of that movie. That movie puts you on the edge of your seat the whole way to watch him kill his daughter. And then to watch Thanos cry. Let's go to the beginning when he breaks Loki's neck, when he kills Heimdall, and also when he gives the Hulk the foo-fops on that ship. Avengers Infinity, the foo-fops, that's from the streets. Listen, Infinity War did something that nobody had ever seen done. The villain had the best part of the arc. The villain saw everything. The villain knew what to do, had the plan, enacted the plan. You had all of you split up the Avengers. You had everybody blame the whole destruction of the world on Star-Lord.
Okay, Eric, you're picking up the baton from Jay and running us home.
Avengers Endgame made the most money because people wanted to see how it ends. And look, Avengers Endgame is the return of the Jedi of the MCU. Avengers Infinity War is the Empire Strikes Back of it. The pacing of that film is relentless. You are from one scene to the next, to the next, to the next. The final battle is in Infinity War is better than the final battle in Endgame because you're in multiple places. You have Wakanda. You have the planet with Stark and Star-Lord trying to fight Thanos. You have Thor off on his adventure with Rocket and Groot. All of it comes together. You have this awesome moment when they win. And then what do? They kill everyone you care about. It is a heartbreaking movie. It is a relentlessly paced movie. If the Safdie brothers directed an MCU movie, it would be Infinity War because the pacing is just fantastic. And you never want to you never want to turn away because you will miss something. Endgame has a lot of starts and stops and some slow moments. Infinity War has none of that. It just goes and goes and it doesn't stop.
There's going to be a credit to both teams because y'all won me over with both arguments. Like when Team Rotten Tomatoes was going in hard on Endgame, I'm like, yeah, of course it's going to be Endgame. These guys are done. But then y'all started talking about Infinity War and the heart and the bold, shall we say, climax and ending of that movie. They did a pretty stirring denouement to let people talking for weeks and months. So it's a good argument, and it's a great binge battle so far. The winner is still up in the air, and that is going to be determined by you, the fan. Once again, vote with the thumbs up button. That's the like button if you think Rotten Tomatoes has the better argument. Vote with the heart, the love button, if you think that it is Team Fandango that is the rightful possessor of the Infinity Gauntlet, which Jay Washington apparently already stole. So we go back to Team Rotten Tomatoes. You have about 20 seconds to wrap it up here. Who wants to go first?
Jack,
I'll go first. Yeah. All right, ready? Here we go. Let me just go ahead and say this. If you guys want to say Infinity War is an amazing movie, I don't disagree. It absolutely is an amazing movie. And it's probably one of the best part ones in the history of cinema. But tell me something. At the end of that movie, is it complete? No. Did it do something different? Absolutely. This movie paid off 22 movies perfectly. The skill, the artistry. This is Simone Biles in the finals of the Olympics landing and getting perfect tens. That is the balance beam that they had to do to make Endgame work. Infinity War could fall off a cliff, but if they don't stick the landing with Endgame, it's all for nothing. And if you don't need any better example, Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, Jacqueline, why you got to go after Star Wars?
You petty. You're so petty. But Eric, you go ahead and handle that one.
You're finishing up the argument.
Karama first.
Okay, so telling the villain story, that has been done before. Other movies have done that before. Joker did it. Anime does it all the time. That's not new. Endgame starts by not knowing what is going to happen. We've established that Infinity War is a good movie, but Endgame had to wrap it all up. Otherwise, we don't have almost an end to phase 3. I know it ends in Spider-Man. I'm just saying this had to happen. This literally had to exist. And also, what are we quoting from Infinity War? Like all the quotes that we've talked about in this entire battle happened in Endgame. And Jay, what street are you on that says Foo Fops?
Hey man, look, I'm from the south side of Chicago back in the 90s. You can take some. Let me get started.
Okay, well, Jay, you get to address any point you want to right
No,
now.
I'll let Eric go first. Eric wants to go. Eric has the points.
Look,
Not that,
first
Eric.
of all, Infinity War is not a part one. It is the Empire Strikes Back of the MCU. And Infinity War gives us the best of the Avengers. It gives us the best of Spider-Man. It gives us the best of Guardians of the Galaxy. It gives us all of our favorite characters all fighting together. Endgame, you don't see the Guardians. You don't see Spider-Man. You don't get any of them until the end. But you have all of the best characters of Black Panther. All the best characters of all of your favorite Marvel movies are all together on this journey in Infinity War. It is really the movie that we had all been waiting to see, all of these characters converging and fighting and hanging out with each other. That's why Infinity War is far superior. And yeah, you got Endgame as the Return of the Jedi. It's a good movie. It caps it all off. But Infinity War is really the meat and potatoes of the MCU's finale.
All right,
And if
Jay.
you want to go, and if you go off of that again, you say, what quotables do we have from Infinity War? The number one quotable that made everybody keep sitting on end is, "You should have gone for the head." That one, that quote within itself, "You should have gone for the head," changed everything because
I say it all the time.
it made you watch everybody that you loved in these movies be broken because they realized they lost. It showed you everybody just feel despondent and despair. And again, watching people, again, Infinity War gave you the saddest thing. I am Groot when we found out he was saying daddy to Rocket. Mr. Stark, I don't feel good.
I love you
How much
3,000,
can we
Jay.
talk
I
about
love you
this now?
3,000. I love you
How much-
3,000.
I love you 3,000 on your left. I mean, like, there's so many more quotes.
Mrs.
All I
Stark,
have to
I don't-
say,
I don't feel
I'm
good.
done. I'm done. I want the
Mr.
fans to decide. Hopefully,
Yeah.
they decide right. What's better,
Okay.
foreplay
Okay.
or the
Look.
climax?
I'm gonna
What's better, Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi?
But we're not
Eric,
comparing our
the
movies
answer
to
to that is
another
Return of the
movie.
Jedi. I can answer that unbiased. The answer is Return of the Jedi because we win in the end and the Ewoks hang out. So look, I'm gonna clear up one notion for y'all right now. Okay, the best quote in either movie is actually from Infinity War because it's when Thor calls Rocket Raccoon "Sweet Rabbit." It's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. Now, with all that being said, we're tabulating the votes right now, and they're coming in fast and furious. Get your last chance to vote for Team Rotten Tomatoes or Team Fandango. I'm gonna read off a couple quotes because y'all, the chat room turned into Yogi Berra because they are endlessly quotable right now. Joseph says Endgame relies on the previous films, but then Anna says Infinity War has the best of both sides of the fight. And so it really is that existential question, what do you prefer in movies? Do you like it when it has a really heartfelt, emotional leave off that is not complete? Or do you like the happy ending where we all wrap things up nice and tie it in a bow? That's really what we're coming down to. Braun says Infinity War doesn't conclude on the arc it sets up. It relies on Endgame to pay them off. So it's not complete. And Yajir says Endgame is the heart of the entire MCU. So many comments coming in from y'all on Facebook. I thank everybody watching right now for probably the most heated binge battle that we've ever had. And why not? Because we're talking about 22 beloved films in the MCU. And it all comes down to this. Because this is the moment I remind everybody to check out RottenTomatoes.com Binge Central. That is the hub where you can go find all things binging. You can check out all the great listicles they have there. A lot of great articles on film, on TV shows. Everything you need in the world of streaming is right there at Binge Central. Oh, and by the way, the winner of today's match, we have it. You all voted with your thumbs up. You all voted with your hearts. But at the end of the day, one team is beloved 3001. And that would be Team Rotten Tomatoes for the victory.
Y'all just didn't want to see Kara blame Jacqueline. That's what it was.
No.
That's what it was.
You messed it up talking about you were speaking for all the women. That you don't do that.
I didn't say I was speaking for all women. I'm gonna stop putting
Don't ever do that.
Congratulations, Team Rotten Tomatoes. Y'all get to go first. Jacqueline, start with you, and then we'll go to Karama. Incredible debating. It was such a fun, spirited conversation that we had. Jacqueline, where can everybody find you? Check out more stuff that you're working on right now.
I'm need oxygen. This was fun, but it was stressful. And y'all can find me. Y'all can find me at that Jacqueline, literally on all platforms because I am that girl, even on TikTok. Thank y'all. This was fun.
Let's have everybody give the kids a quick streaming recommendation real fast. What's something that you're watching you think more people need to check out? Jacqueline, what do you got?
Okay, for a good streaming recommendation, I guess it's streaming. You guys should watch I May Destroy You on HBO. It is by Michelle. I'm going to say her name wrong. She did Chewing Gum on Netflix, and she just did this new show, which is absolutely incredible. So check that out.
All right, we go to your co-winner there, Karama Horn. Karama, you are now 2-0 in binge battles, and it looks like you're ready for another one right now. Where can all the kids check out more stuff you're doing?
I'm similar to Jackie. I'm just the Blurred Girl everywhere. TheBlerdGurl. Please check out the Blurred Girl live on Twitch every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. My guests, actually, I'll tease my guest online later, but it's a lot of fun. I just had Daniel Jose Older on my show. Wow, she took mine. I was gonna say I May Destroy You also.
This is why we're teammates.
Exactly. You know what? Here's one. If you are looking for a good horror movie that you and you like zombies, check out Kingdom on Netflix. It is a Korean period drama, but it is one of the best zombie series I've ever seen.
All right, and I will also stump for one of Karama's favorite properties, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I can now pronounce Iroh correctly.
Yeah, and have you watched it?
I'm not finished with it yet, so I will. Maybe I can guest on the Twitch channel once I finish it. That can be my reward. So we'll talk. We go over to Team Fandango. Eric, Jay, it was a tough loss today, but y'all fought valiantly. And if you love Infinity War, this is kind of your Infinity War because maybe there's some unfinished business with Team Fandango, and we'll have to have you all return on a future episode. In the meantime, Eric, where can all the kids check out the stuff you're working on?
I think we just got snapped. You can follow me. Just follow me at Fandango on Twitter at Eric with a K Davis. And I just want to say, we're all friends. We've all hung out outside of this, so it was awesome. This was a really great, fun time that we had. And my streaming pick, Mark, I'm going to go with a rarity. I'm going to say, you know what? Avengers: Infinity War. All you in the comment section who voted for Endgame, go back and go stream and
my God, he's bitter.
Infinity War.
Oh, he's bitter.
Because it is the far superior movie to Avengers Endgame. So that's my binge pick, Mark.
I'm not mad at that. I would be that petty too. If I'm being really honest, I'm petty AF. I would be just petty about it.
But I love all of you, and
I love you too.
I hope you have a good weekend.
We're gonna have.
I would have been just as salty.
I would love if we were able to do this when this is all over, to be able to do this like in a bar.
Oh
live.
my God, this would be great.
That'd be amazing.
Hey, well, I have done this in a bar with Jay many a time. So, Jay, where can all the kids find you and check out the stuff that you got going on?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington. That's MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington.
It's okay, honey.
No,
we still love you.
I still love you. I love y'all all too, but I'm just saying it hurts.
I love you 3,000. I love you 3,000.
Shut your face. Shut your face. Blurs in the Hood every Tuesday on the Blurs in the Hood YouTube channel. Me and Winston A. Marshall. We have fun about an hour, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. on the East Coast. And for my binge recommendation, I'm gonna go anime, and I've been binge watching Hunter x Hunter.
Yes,
that is incredible. If you have not seen it, every time you think you know what the story is about to be, they change it up and it keeps getting better and better. But this was a blast. We got to do this again. I just want a binge battle of nothing. Infinity War versus Endgame. That's it. We don't go about no other movies. We just go them two.
Like each character.
Just every question is based about them two movies, because whoever voted Endgame, you know what? Somebody hurt you in your heart. Okay, somebody.
All right. It's gonna be okay.
I cannot wait to regroup the tech team and see what the comments were like on the other platforms we were streaming on, because we kind of did like our own Avengers Assemble. We were live on Fandango, Fandango All Access, Movies.com, the Rotten Tomatoes YouTube channel, and the Rotten Tomatoes Facebook page. We were taking the votes from the Facebook page today, but across all those platforms, we encourage you to check out everything going on in Rotten Tomatoes. And once again, RottenTomatoes.com. Check out Binge Central for all the latest going on in the wild, wacky, wonderful world of streaming. I want to give a huge shout out to our incredible team behind the scenes, making this all come together, making us look so pretty, and making the stream work, making the stream regenerate just like Weapon X.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody behind the scenes.
Y'all can follow me
Yeah.
at Mark Ellis
Yes.
Live. And if you want to check out something fun streaming, my new special Dog Stepfather, named after that little nugget, is currently on Amazon Prime. Thank you to Kara Mahorn, Jacqueline Coley, your winning team. And I'll say the runner-up team is Eric Davis and Jay Washington. Jay, stay tuned. We're doing virtual stand-up soon, so get your set ready. In the meantime,
I've been doing so many Zoom shows anyway.
tuning in. On behalf of everyone at Rotten Tomatoes, we'll see you soon.